Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan Tate have been arrested on human trafficking and rape charges in Romania. Human trafficking and rape. Absolutely vile stuff to be discussed, and vile people in this situation. It was Andrew Tate, his brother Tristan Tate, and 2 other individuals as well. And of course, Andrew Tate is this well-known influencer, social media influencer, former kickboxer, who got a lot of mainstream notoriety through his deeply misogynistic views and beliefs that he is spouting off and articulating to so many young, especially men and boys, unfortunately. Now, quickly before we dive into this story, the specifics of it, yesterday, at the end of yesterday's show, if you're a full show listener on the podcast platforms, or full show viewer if you're a member and you get access to the full video version of the show, you remember yesterday we ended the show talking about how Andrew Tate got his rear end handed to him by Greta Thunberg in a Twitter interaction that he responded to with a pretty embarrassing video. Now, that occurred and we covered it. The reason why we haven't uploaded that as its own segment on YouTube is because shortly after wrapping up the show yesterday, this news broke. And I feel like uploading that video by itself without this news attached to it would be absolutely weird. And so we're going to talk about this, as well as the connection, a wild and unbelievable connection of these charges, how the Romanian law enforcement decided to go about this, and that connecting to Greta Thunberg, again, in a shocking way. Very, very interesting, but we'll get to all of it. First, from Reuters, the brothers declined to comment on Thursday, but their lawyer confirmed they had been detained. They appeared in court on Friday as they awaited its decision on whether to grant the prosecutor's request. Prosecutors said that the Tate brothers had been under criminal investigation since April. Quote, the 4 suspects appeared to have created an organized crime group with the purpose, of recruiting, housing, and exploiting women by forcing them to create pornographic content meant to be seen on specialized websites for a cost. Wow. And then we'll look at this being reported again in video form by Reuters.
Controversial internet personality Andrew Tate has been detained in Romania. The former professional kickboxer has been accused of human trafficking, rape, and forming an organised crime group. He was detained along with his brother Tristan and 2 other Romanian suspects. In a statement, Romanian prosecutors said, quote, the 4 suspects appear to have created an organised crime group with the purpose of recruiting, housing, and exploiting women by forcing them to create pornographic content meant to be seen on specialised websites for a cost. Prosecutors said they had found 6 women who had been sexually exploited by the suspects. Tate has been banned from many social media platforms for misogynistic comments and hate speech. He previously said women are partially responsible for being raped and that they belong to men. Earlier this week, he was...
And we'll get into the Greta Thunberg angle of this in a second here. So, sexually exploiting, one of the examples I was reading about with how this would go about is, for example, Tristan Tate invited a woman and made her believe that they were in love and that she should come and be a romantic partner with him. And she did. And then upon arriving, these women realize that's not at all the intention of Andrew or Tristan Tate or these other individuals. And instead, it is through the use of threats demanded of them that they produce pornographic content and do sex work against their will. So that's kind of the type of story that's coming out of this that is so vile. Now, the Greta Thunberg angle. Yesterday, we talked about how he tweeted at her, and just let me lay this out and you'll see how it connects. He tweeted at her, hello, Greta Thunberg. I have 33 cars. So this is Andrew Tate tweeting at Greta Thunberg. My Bugatti has... and some specifics about his Bugatti, my 2 Ferraris. This is just the start. Please provide your email address so I can send a complete list of my car collection and the respective enormous emissions. And then he attached a photo of himself. And what he's trying to do there is say, ha ha ha, because you care about the climate, I'm going to explain how bad my cars are for the climate. And she responded by saying, yes, please do enlighten me. Email me at smallenergy, but the actual word, at getalife.com. A great response, and he felt the need to respond to that tweet with a video. And in it, this was his response. I'll show it to you, and then pay attention to the pizza boxes, okay? When the pizza boxes arrive, that's a key moment in this whole story.
Release some greenhouse gases. I'm obviously a stranger to online controversy. It's not something I often do. But now, the mainstream press is commenting on the fact that...
And to give you perspective, this is one day, if I'm not mistaken, before the Romanian police raided and arrested him and his brother. And he's responding to Greta Thunberg.
I was informing Greta that my very extensive car collection with internal combustion engines, which run on dead dinosaurs, have an enormous emission profile. And she replied by telling me her own email address. Greta's email address is, I have small dick energy. Why would that be your own email address, Greta? Strange. I mean, also, I don't want to assume her gender. It's 50-50.
So he's attempting to play it off like he's not absolutely devastated by the embarrassment that occurred on Twitter when an 18-year-old woman humiliated him by responding in a great fashion to his very strange tweet at her asking for her email. And what I had said in yesterday's segment is putting yourself in a situation as an adult man where you're tweeting at an 18-year-old female for their email is not one I would implore you to put yourself in. But we'll continue this video and coming up to the important part.
But it is what it is. I'm not actually mad at Greta. Please bring me pizza and make sure that these boxes are not recycled. Thank you. So I'm not actually mad at Greta, right? Because she doesn't realize she's been programmed. She doesn't realize she's a slave of the Matrix. She thinks she's doing good. Someone has sat her down and convinced her to try and convince you to beg your government to tax you into poverty to stop the sun from being hot. And then, because I called her out on it, the global matrix got this bot farm to like and retweet and all this bot commenting.
So you get the point. Then he's trying to say that the reason that tweet went viral and so many people were dunking on him for his very dumb tweet at Greta Thunberg is because there was a bot farm, a conspiracy to make him look bad, when of course that's not the reality. But the reason why we're circling back to this in the context of the human trafficking and rape charges and the arrest on those is because the pizza boxes that he very organically asked, you know, it definitely wasn't choreographed that he got one of his staffers or whatever, friends, to bring during this video to make him look cool and bougie, getting pizza handed to him. But this stunt and this video that he couldn't help but to make to go after Greta Thunberg or to play off his humiliation a little bit is what led to the Romanian law enforcement knowing he was where they suspected him to be. Think about that. So Greta Thunberg just got randomly reached out by him, randomly reached out to by him over Twitter. He sends her a tweet trying to make fun of the fact that she cares about climate change and humans' effect on and the ramifications of climate change. And that doesn't go well for him. It goes so poorly, he feels the need to make a video to make sure everyone knows that he's not super butthurt about this. That, because he wants to get pizza handed to him in that video, leads to the Romanian law enforcement realizing, okay, that's a pizza place that is in Romania. Because before they raided his residence, they needed to know that him and his brother were indeed at this residence where they suspected him to be, and those pizza boxes allowed them to get that confirmation and do the raid. And that's why the raid occurred just one day after he released that video. So in part, Greta Thunberg helped lead to the arrest and hopefully eventual legal accountability being held to him and his brother because of her great response and her great handling of this very strange and vile human being. And she followed up their previous discussion with a final tweet that said, this is what happens when you don't recycle your pizza boxes. Because in the video, you probably heard him say, make sure these boxes don't get recycled, to further that, making fun of anyone who cares about our climate. So great job by Greta Thunberg. Horrible stuff with Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan Tate. As this process goes on, and we get more information, I will update you if there's important bits of information. But the general sense, and then like I said, more specifics will come out, is through the process of tricking women under the guise that they're coming to be romantic partners, they would get people to their place where they ran this operation and then force them and threaten them into sex work. That's what was going on. Absolutely horrible. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before any of the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get a full extra show every single Saturday, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley, and there's a link in the description.